Peace and love always. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Good Vibes Only. Today we are here in Venice Beach, California, and I am here with Taylor, the founder of
Journey 333 and formerly Change Heroes.
Oh, I didn't know you changed your name.
Some changes have happened.
Oh, okay. So this is going to be exciting. This is not live happening, but
yeah.
This is my first time hearing of this. Okay. Can you tell us? So it was called Change Heroes, which is a peer-to-peer fundraising platform, but now you changed it to Journey 333?
Change Heroes is still a peer-to-peer fundraising platform. It's wonderful. It helps people to rally their friends, to gather money, to fund projects like schools and water projects and libraries and anti-sex trafficking work and whatnot in developing countries. But what it is, it's a software for nonprofits. So we built the software that enables people to raise money, mostly millennials. We then partner with nonprofits that are working in, Cambodia and Laos and Thailand and throughout Latin America and on the African continent, and they go to their supporters and get them to raise money via the technology that we built at Change Heroes.
Okay,
and
that's
Journey
cool.
is a transformational travel company that we started literally 6 months ago. That's my baby. And what we do there is we bring people on really cool adventures. Right now we're really focused on Latin America, so in a couple of weeks we'll be bringing 70 people to Nicaragua. And we'll go down there, we'll build homes for 2 days, and then we'll go to the beach, to a really cool little authentic surf lodge, where we'll do yoga, meditation, journaling, surfing, the whole thing, and really create a community around transformational travel and making an impact in the world.
I like that. That's really cool. I like that term, transformational travel. How would you describe that to somebody?
I mean, really, it's tough to kind of boil down what we're trying to do into like a little catchphrase, right? But you have to, right? You gotta say,
of course.
This is the kind of travel company we are. What we're trying to do is replicate the experience that I've had, that so many people have had when they immerse themselves in a culture that is far different than their own, and ideally give back and actually do something to impact that culture instead of, you know what traveling used to be. Let's look at like the 90s travel. You go to Mexico, you drink your face off, you eat from some stupid buffet like cattle, and you come home with nothing but a sunburn and a hangover. That was what travel was, right? Going to Mexico, very exotic. and then that evolved into definitely a step in the right direction with wellness travel. You see like yoga retreats, surf retreats. It's a $400 billion industry, wellness travel. It's massive, right?
Yes.
And that's great, and it's wonderful to go to Costa Rica and find yourself and do yoga for a week, and sometimes that's totally needed. But what we find is that the millennial generation, people ages of 18 to 35 right now, they want everything in one experience. They want to build a new community, so meet new friends and amazing people. They want to have an incredible adventure and do yoga and surf. They want to give back. This generation, more than any other predecessor generation, wants to give back so much. They want to do it back with everything they do. Like you go to Whole Foods and walk down any aisle, it's tough to find anything that doesn't say, you buy this jar of peanut butter, we'll give 97 peanuts to someone who needs peanuts. You know what I mean, right? Everything's got a wonderful give back model, and that's incredible. And the generation demands that. And right now, in the travel sector, which is one of the world's largest industries, $7 trillion a year, it's like 10% of GDP. It's bananas. Travel is huge. I'm just going to
keep throwing the numbers. I didn't even know that.
$7 trillion industry. And right now, there's this massive gap. You can go on a cruise, you can go do the Mexican vacation, you can do this, but there's this huge gap because this millennial generation wants to make impact, and they don't know how. And to try to book a trip that makes impact, that you can surf and do yoga and meet a whole bunch of new friends, it's virtually impossible. And to do it, I had the experience of doing it myself, costs $5,000 plus. Yeah. Because you got to line up a nonprofit and some activities and transportation and security and hope that it's going to be safe, hotels. Try to rally your friends to do it. It's literally almost impossible to do. And so that's like the problem that we're solving is integrating impact into one of the world's largest industries.
I like that. I think that's really awesome. I like that word. The term transformational travel.
Yeah,
that's what it is too.
Let's say you're not like peace, love, good vibes woman, okay? For a second. Maybe you had a past life. Let's say there's a lot of us millennials. We'll just talk about the millennial generation in general, but other generations that surrounded it, it's accurate for them as well. But let's think of someone who's 30 years old and they're working a corporate job, 9 to 5, doing their thing. They think that they'd like to make a little bit of an impact in the world. They're probably feeling a little bit hollow. They're feeling like, there's got to be more than this. There has to be something more than me coming in and plugging the clock from Monday to Friday every week, and so many people still do it. You don't do it. Like this is your thing, right? You're spreading love and joy and all the lovely good vibes. But there's a lot of people that aren't. And so what it takes, I don't know what transformation you went through. Maybe you can tell me about it. But there's probably some sort of a thing that happened in your life that put you on this path. In my experience, a trip that immerses someone in a totally different culture, and again that they get to make impact. Just is there swearing on the show?
I mean, it's okay.
Just fucking shakes them to the core. You know what I mean? It shakes them to the point where something rattles and they go, wait a second, I don't have to do that. I don't have to live like my life like that. I don't have to use my skills, abilities, passions, creativity, everything that I'm good at to just make money for a bigger corporation or to just make money for myself. I can use those things to raise the vibe on the planet, to make an impact, and while I'm doing that, learn an exponential amount from the people that you're visiting. And so that's the goal, is like everyone that comes on this trip, our goal isn't just a nice travel experience. Our goal is radical transformation. Our goal is people coming back being a more empathetic, philanthropic, altruistic human being. And in my experience, the best way to do it, and that's how it happened to me, is going on a trip, removing yourself from your environment, immersing yourself in a new culture, and learning from people and realizing that you're the exact same as that other culture, and then be able to have an impact on that culture is the most humbling, honorable, incredible thing that I ever took part in, and it's what I'm ecstatic to share with as many people as possible.
I think it's wonderful, and I think it is true that a lot of millennials specifically want this kind of experience and don't like the traditional way of doing things at all. I mean, I guess millennials are very, we don't like the boxes. I mean, there's still some millennials, obviously who do, but most of us don't. Like, most of us see that there's a big picture out there, but I think it's sometimes you know there's something more, but you haven't had that experience yet that pushes you that direction.
Yeah, and exactly, and you hear all over and over and over again this story of, let's say, Craig Kielburger, who started Free the Children, impacted literally millions of people all over the world now. It's an amazing nonprofit based out of Canada. Or John Wood, who started Room to Read, another incredible nonprofit. They open more libraries than Starbucks opens cafes.
Really? I never heard of that one.
It's amazing. John Wood, he wrote a book called Leaving Microsoft to Save the World.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
Or like Scott Harrison for Charity Water. These people that had this, and if you look at all of them, they started these amazing nonprofits, and if you ask them how they started, they trace it back to a trip. They trace it back to an experience that just blew their mind. But you listen to those stories, and you listen to, or like Adam Braun from Pencils of Promise. What's his story? Well, he went to, I believe it was Guatemala, and met this family that was living in poverty, and helped them by getting them some pencils and educational supplies and whatnot. Shook him to the core, came back, quit his job at, I think it was Bain, he was a consultant, I believe, and kind of shifted his life and started this nonprofit that's making a massive impact. But that path of going on trip, quitting job, having amazing experience, all this stuff, it's not easy. Like I said, it's not only expensive to book a trip like that, but where would you know where to start? And so why is it that there's always the people that are doing the most incredible things in the world, in my opinion, my heroes are these people that are running these big nonprofits or social enterprise, whether it be for-profit or non-profit, that are making a massive impact. They have a story like this, but for them to have that experience was, again, this arduous path where they're like, I think I need more, and they actually went on the trip. And then they had this moment of realization, and then they started changing the world. And our thought is, well, what if we could scale that moment? What if we could replicate that moment? What if we could create that moment at scale? What if we could bring 70 people to Nicaragua and all of them have that moment? And they come back, and maybe they don't quit their job, but maybe they start integrating fundraising or giving back or volunteering, whatever it is, into their daily routine. What if we could bring 700 people a year? What if we could bring 7,000 people? What if we could bring 1 million people on trips that will change them at a core level? And so, for your audience, they'll get this term. I usually leave this term out, but this is scaling a feeling of oneness with everyone around us, and it is, in my mind, expediting or speeding up consciousness, as we call it.
Yes.
We call it consciousness, waking up, whatever you want to call it. To me, that's like waking up with. We try not to make like a bucket of cold water. Where you get immersed and you're like, holy cow, there's a whole world out there, this is insane. We try to do it with like lukewarm water, but still, it's a bucket of water.
Yeah. Because a lot of people, in America, you're from Canada, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know how it is growing up in Canada, but
I might add, I checked an email this morning, and I was approved for my green card.
Are you? Congratulations. Yay. That's awesome. And I don't know how different it is growing up in Canada to America, but I feel like we see a lot, but we're also still sheltered to the reality of the world and the conditions that a lot of people live in. And that's why experiences traveling like that kind of opens us up to it.
Yeah, and it's interesting, you know, the term sheltered is like, when you think of it, even sheltered, it's like someone kind of puts a box over you and you can't see out of it, or a bubble, when in actuality, this is a self-induced shelter for the most part that we do. And what I mean by that is, we're in Venice, California. It's beautiful, right? The trees are lined with palm trees. The beach is right there. This house that we're living in. I mean, you go, I think maybe 13 blocks or so that way, and it's completely impoverished. People are living on the streets, living totally hand to mouth, day to day, barely scraping it by. And what's crazy about this situation, whether it's here or anywhere in the world, is that 80% of people that are homeless, and this is in Canada. I'm guessing it's applicable to the States as well. Is 80% of the people that are homeless because of some sort of trauma in their life. They're homeless because something happened, like, you know, the mom driving somewhere with the kids in the back, gets in a car accident, they all die. The dad, that's so traumatic for the dad that wasn't there, and then he could, you know, go into isolation, become depressed, lose his job, become homeless. You know what I mean? Like, we see people that are homeless and we're thinking like, oh, I don't know what people think about when people are homeless, but chances are we're wrong. Chances are we're totally wrong as to why they're in that situation. So I guess I agree with you. We are sheltered, and it's also a self-induced shelter in that we don't want to look at it. It's uncomfortable to look at, because if we do look at it and we like open our eyes and see it, then there's part of us that is going to want to do something, and our bodies as human beings, we're usually adverse to change. We naturally want things to be this. Our egos want things to be the same. Succession, planning. I know what my future is. So for, you know, like, let's say we did this interview on a street over in Venice where what is it? I can't remember, 2nd Street or anything that way. We're new here. If we went and did the interview there, we're interviewing those people. Chances are, after we spent time with them and heard their stories, we would want to do something different. And so our egos are going to go, nope, don't want to see that. I'm different from them, and that's a part of that oneness kind of conversation. Is like, I'm different than that person because that's how they're living. This is how I live. You know, and we have these invisible walls and shelters that we put up ourselves, and to keep them, because it's very uncomfortable to know that someone who's the exact fucking same as us, the fucking exact same, is living on the street right there and pissing on the sidewalk. Yeah. It's uncomfortable for us to feel that, right? And if we feel it, we might have to make change. And, you know, naturally we don't want to make change.
I feel like we also feel like if we pay attention to it, we feel some type of responsibility. Like, we have to do something, we have to make change, but we feel like, I guess, kind of guilty because we see it as, oh, we have it better than them because we have a roof over our heads and they don't. So we feel like, okay, so now I have to actually do something for this person to give them a roof over their head, or something. Not that's kind of extreme to give them a roof, but you know what I mean.
I mean, it is an extreme example, and why is it an extreme example? You know what I mean? Isn't that crazy? Like, why is it such an extreme example for us to meet someone and then do something incredibly kind and altruistic and philanthropic for them? Because what's crazy, there's a lot of crazy things. And by the way, there are some amazing organizations that are doing local, more community-based travel. We're starting to get involved as much as possible in the LA homelessness scene, if you will, right now, to see what we can do locally. Though our core competency and what excites us and what we've seen to bring on the transformation that we want to create is international at the moment. There's some amazing groups like Breakout. I know your watchers or viewers would love Breakout. Breakout is this incredible community of people that will gather community, sometimes kind of influential people that are really doing some cool things in the world, and bring them to Detroit and show them what's going on in Detroit. They'll meet with high-level politicians. They'll meet with, Michael, the guy who started, who was telling me about, they'll go to basically the Skid Row of Detroit, and he's like the king of Skid Row, the guy who kind of runs the place, and hear his story, you know, and see what's going on locally at the same time.
That's interesting.
But yeah,
Breakout.
So that's the thing, is like this extreme example, this is also, you're here to talk to me because you view me as someone who's doing good stuff in the world, right?
Yes.
And you're going to show, and at some point you'll be like, whoa, this guy Taylor's doing such cool stuff. But wouldn't it be amazing if it wasn't that cool?
Because everybody was doing it?
If it's just like, oh my God, this guy somehow realized that helping people and devoting his life to making impact via, I do it via for-profit businesses. That's my my thing. When I was building for-profit companies that also make a massive impact in the world. But wouldn't it be amazing if that wasn't like out of the ordinary? That every company should be a for-impact company.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's. I'm going to go on the tiniest rant here, and then I'm going to stop because I've already ranted a lot. But like, I mean, we are the most insane species that has ever walked the earth, 100%. Why? Because have you ever noticed that a dog will never shit in its own bed? A dog will never shit in its own bed because it knows it needs to sleep there. At some point, right? It will do everything possible to not shit in its own bed. Yeah. Right? And I'm talking the only way it would is if it was caged in. You're like, what would make it possible? So it's caged in. So anyway, so a dog will never shit in his own bed, but we shit in our own bed every day, all day. I was surfing the other day down here in Venice. Surfing, I'm having a lovely surf. I look out, there's dolphins. These 3 dolphins. I'm like, man, this is so beautiful. I look down, there's a plastic bag under the surface, and there's garbage, and it's just in the water. And I'm like, this is what we do as humans. We're poisoning. I know it's been said many times, many ways, but we're poisoning the thing that not only gives us life, but it sustains us and gives us everything we could ever need. I mean, that was my small rant, is that we just shit in our own bed all the time, which is crazy. And what's not crazy is using our lives to make as much impact as humanly possible. That's actually the most natural, normal, / euphoric, good feeling, wonderful thing that we could possibly do. But right now it's labeled as crazy or as new and innovative, But I mean, hopefully, if this reaches enough people, what you're doing reaches enough people, then maybe it becomes the norm. 20 years from now, more like 200, but 20 years from now, it's the norm to be doing what you do. Good vibes only.
Thank you. I mean, I have high hopes. I like to think big and hope that, we could reach a place where everybody's giving back, everybody's in peace, and everything's great. I know we have a long way to go for that, but everybody needs to play their part. Everybody needs to do something. And I think that's why, that's a big reason why I started doing the media, because I speak to people who tell me, like, the world is this bad, evil place. There's so many bad people in the world. Look at all these bad things that happen. But I'm like, yes, bad things happen, but there's also so many good things that happen, but we don't hear about those good things. So for most people, they see the bad because that's what they see on TV, but that's not reality,
Yeah, don't get me started on the media.
I know. You can rant for me. It's okay. I don't mind it.
Your media's you're good. I like it. You know what I'm talking about.
I know what media.
And that's something that's really different between Canada and the U.S.
Yeah.
Basically anywhere else in the world than the U.S. No offense. But it's like I guess I get a kick out of it. It's like a depressed kick out of it. And anytime I land in an airport, definitely in New York. I go to New York all the time, and every time I land in New York, the first thing I see when I get off the plane, CNN, right? CNN and the red banners,